Recently asked you about the power play, but it's hard not to keep talking about it. You guys are now up to 33.3%. I think the Oilers of a couple years ago set an all-time benchmark. They were 32 point something. There's obviously a lot of time left to go, but how much pride are you taking in kind of what this group continues to do? Not a ton of chances, but when you have been getting them, obviously just continue to make hay with it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of focus on end results. We basically stick to the process about what we want to do, how we want to do it, and we've got good players out there that are finishing off plays. A lot of it is work done without the puck and without the play. Something we take a great deal of pride in, and we just want to make sure we're continuing to focus on how we do things more so than end results.
When you see a guy like Gabe Vilardi do what he did last night to score, and we've seen that type of play from him before, like, is that something as a coach you can, obviously want players to do that, but you can't really teach that, right? Like, he's got an innate skill and ability to do things in really small areas with that set of hands that maybe not everybody can do.
Well, you want to put each of your guys in the best position to use their skill sets, and we feel like we've done that to the most part, both units. And a lot of times it depends on how the other team is going to defend situations where we feel we can attack with different options. And if they give us space in one area, that's where we're going. If they take away space or a different option, then we feel like we've got enough guys out there that can do a lot of different things and do a lot of different things quickly. And that's where we would game plan towards. Guys have done a real good job about being receptive and recognizing how those plays need to be made based on how we feel we can attack a certain penalty kill.
Just one more on the subject, but looking at other teams on this road trip coming up now, you're going to see Patrick Laine tomorrow. You're going to see Alex Ovechkin on Saturday. Those guys have kind of made a career out of feasting on the power play. And one thing about them, I don't know if you'd agree with this, but they're both fairly predictable in where they are on the ice during a power play and what they do. Why is it that they have been so effective? Even though other teams probably know what they're going to do, it seems like even in 2025 they're still hard to stop.
Well, there's skill, and then there's elite skill, and then there's beyond that. Yeah. And I think you're talking about two guys who have, and certainly Ovechkin has defined how to score from that area better than anybody. And you'd be foolish to try to emulate that with your power play group if you can't shoot the puck like that. Not too many people can. Laine might come close, but the numbers don't say that just yet. But it is incredible when you look at those two guys and knowing the puck is going to end up there at a certain point in time. It's coming. You pregame for it, and it still ends up in your net. That to me makes what Ovechkin is what he's doing so incredibly special, because he's done it over and over and over again. And there's lots of times he goes to the hard areas and he scores the 2-footers and tips pucks in the net. But the predictability of that one-timer is one thing, stopping it is another.
Davis, I'd just like to ask about Cole Perfetti, the physical side of his game. I know you only have half a season with him, but what have you noticed about that part of his toolbox? And I ask that because he made a reference to that Friday morning about having to play with more edge, more jam.
Well, we just for Fetz, it's a matter of playing a game that allows him to have an impact with and without the puck. If he's tenacious on the forecheck, if he's into people, if he's arriving at the right time, he's going to create at least a loose puck, and then his quickness can take over. And we like him with a puck on his stick in space, but there's lots of times where the five-man unit has to create that, and he has the ability to use his quickness and get to places. And if that arrives with a little bit of contact, that's even better, because it puts him in a situation where he can move out of that contact quicker. It just gets him into the game. It gets his compete level up, and when a guy, any player, not just Cole, any player is playing at a higher compete level, good things happen when the puck ends up on their stick.
In your experience coaching up young players, especially skilled ones, how much of that is an evolution in their game, especially coming into the league known primarily as a skilled guy, physically still needing to develop, and then by perhaps the end of their entry-level contract, that becomes something that is a little bit more defined in their game?
Yeah, I think that for young players coming into the league that are numbers guys that have produced, the hardest adjustment for them is when they're not getting touches, we're not getting chances, they're not getting chances to make plays. It's sort of how am I going to have an impact on this game? And if you look at possession numbers, I mean, rarely does a guy have the puck for more than 20, 25 seconds in a hockey game, and that's if you play 20 minutes. So you've got to create a game, or you have to have a game that has an impact for us defensively, so that you're not giving up things, but also how do you work for those opportunities? And that is about checking, that is about angles, that is about arriving in spaces at the right time. And these are things that all good offensive players coming into the league have to adjust to, because as much as they're paid, there's other guys on the other side that are paid just as much to keep the puck out of the net. Maybe not quite as much, but the whole point is that you have to have a game that has layers, and the layers has to have a foundation that starts without the puck, and they have to attach value to doing a good job there. Once they attach value to doing a good job there, the rest of their game feels a little bit better, and then their offensive skill usually starts to elevate them.
Yeah, if I could circle back to that power play for just a second, like one person specifically is Vilardi.
You absolutely can. I spend all day on it.
Okay. Vilardi, second in the league in power play goals right now. What's his secret? You've seen it now. Just kind of your thoughts on how he's so productive on that segment of the game.
Well, you look at his skill set. He's a big body guy with a really, really good set of hands. And not only can he make plays in tight areas, he can get the puck off his stick to different parts of the net. He's got composure in those areas, and he's gotten really comfortable in understanding the role inside the dots and below the hash marks and around the net, whether he's popping out or whether he's tight to the net. He's getting a better understanding of how he's going to create his look. When it is his focus to the chances coming to him, he needs to step forward and go ahead and be aggressive in those situations. So I think he's learning the league. He's learning his own capabilities. He's continuing to work on his game. He passes the puck extremely well. He's got great vision, as we saw last night. He can also shoot the puck, and he's not afraid to go into the blue paint to score goals. That's a pretty good recipe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. It takes an awful lot of courage to stand up there and take hacks and the whole 9 yards. That's another level of mentality too. You really got to want to be there to score goals as well too, right?
Yeah, they pay you the same for the ones down there as they do from distance. So again, you come through. We talked about younger players. You come through, say, junior or the minors, playing a different role. Well, sometimes those roles are filled up by guys that are really good players that have been playing 6, 7, 8 years, and you've got to sort of redefine yourself in a different area. He's done a really nice job of being a guy that's at the net front, being a guy that can not only score around the net but distribute from that position, which we like to do as well. And so he's a big asset for us.